Welcome everyone to Sweat Daily with me, Kayla Itsines, and on Tuesday we bring you exclusive interviews with global stars and familiar faces, uncovering insights and sometimes unexpected revelations about their health habits.
She's not from Sydney, not from Hollywood, not even from one of those elite fitness families that show up with genetically sculpted abs and glossy PR teams. She's from Adelaide, just a girl with two normal parents, living a normal life, who ended up doing something very, very not normal. And if you've ever picked up a dumbbell, scrolled fitness TikTok, or downloaded a workout app, chances are Kayla Itsines' name is somewhere in that influence chain. But the story behind that name, it's not your average fitness influencer success story. Because it didn't start with a flashy launch or a viral TikTok. It started with a girl who just loved being a personal trainer, loved bossing people around in the best way, cranking up loud music in a backyard gym, and watching women transform not just their bodies, but their mindset. It wasn't built in Silicon Valley or dreamed up in a boardroom full of venture capitalists. It started with PDFs, literally, digital booklets sent to women across the world, filled with circuits that looked simple but left people gasping by the end of 28 minutes. The kind of workouts that tricked you, they seemed easy until about 5 minutes in, when your legs turned to jelly and you were rethinking your life choices. But those 28-minute routines became a lifeline for thousands of women. And soon, those thousands turned into millions. And those PDFs, they morphed into Sweat, a full-fledged fitness app that would eventually sell for a jaw-dropping $400 million. But that sale is just a headline. The real story? It's messier, deeper, and way more human than that. When Kayla was younger, there wasn't some grand vision of building an empire. Ask her what she would have been if all of it disappeared, and the answer is instant: a personal trainer, not even a pause. There was never a plan B, not some elaborate dream of running a company or becoming a fitness mogul, just a deep love for helping women feel strong, physically and mentally, and a fiery drive to create something real. And that's what makes this story so different. At its core, this isn't about metrics or followers or money. It's about values, simple ones, like never embarrassing the family, never promoting a product she didn't believe in, never sexualizing herself to sell, and always, always making women feel safe. But when Sweat made the leap from PDFs to app format, things didn't go as planned. The launch was chaotic. The app crashed. Thousands of users couldn't log in. Complaints flooded in, not just technical issues, but people furious about paying $3.99 a week for a subscription. A price that feels small now, but back then, unheard of. The pressure was immense. And here's the thing. When something goes wrong at a big company, people blame the brand. But with Sweat, Kayla was the brand. If the app failed, it wasn't just Sweat's failure, it was hers. Her face, her name, her identity, splashed across media with every complaint. And in those moments, it didn't matter how hard she'd worked or how pure her intentions were. Public perception didn't have time for nuance. If the servers crashed, it was Kayla's app. If people were angry, it was Kayla they came for. Not the developers, not the tech team, her. And that level of exposure isn't just stressful, it's deeply personal. Because when the brand is a person, every criticism cuts twice as deep. She couldn't hide behind a logo or send out a vague PR statement. She had to face it, head on. With calm grace and a thick skin she hadn't quite grown yet. That's the thing no one talks about with personal brands. They're vulnerable, raw, exposed. One bug, one glitch, one poorly timed email blast, and suddenly, your identity becomes a dartboard for frustration. But even then, she didn't throw anyone under the bus. She didn't deflect. She absorbed the blow, then rolled up her sleeves and helped fix it. Not for applause, not for redemption, just because it mattered. Because they mattered. The women who trusted her. The ones who logged in to feel better, stronger, more capable. And even in that storm, that connection never broke. Maybe that's why the community held on. Because they knew she wasn't perfect, but she was real. That's the burden of being the face of something huge. When Nike messes up, no one blames a person. But when Sweat struggled, all eyes turned to her. There were no media consultants spinning the narrative, just a girl trying to make women's lives better, now dealing with tech meltdowns, public backlash, and a flood of pressure she never asked for. But the app didn't fold. Instead, it got fixed, fast, because behind the scenes was Toby, her then partner and co-founder, cool-headed in crisis mode, waking up developers across time zones, triaging chaos with calm. The two of them, so different in energy and approach, made it work. One was fire, the other water, and together, they weathered the storm. But that came at a cost. While Sweat was exploding globally, Kayla's personal life was getting tangled. There were friends who made strange comments, things like, "You could just pay off our house now," or "buy us all cars," as if success made her owe them something. Some of those friendships dissolved, trust faded, and the higher the platform, the lonelier it became. Success wasn't loud celebrations and champagne. It was small, quiet moments. Sitting at the dinner table with her family, handing out tiny gifts and a Christmas card that said something simple but life-changing. The house is paid off. No viral Instagram post, no press release, just a quiet gesture wrapped in love, delivered in the safest space she knew, around the people who'd never once asked for anything in return. Her dad, who rarely showed emotion, sitting silently, then wiping away a tear he didn't expect. Her mom, caught between confusion and pride, asking if the deal had really gone through. It was raw and real. That moment didn't need cameras or confetti. It had weight, because for Kayla, success had always looked like this. Not about what could be bought, but what could be given back. And it wasn't just the big things. There was the tablecloth she bought for her grandparents. Not expensive by millionaire standards, but meaningful. It replaced the old fabric one they constantly had to wash. This new one could be wiped clean, easier, simpler. To her, it felt like magic, and they still use it 10 years later. Because some gifts don't wear out. They settle into daily life like a quiet reminder of love. These weren't grand displays. They were thank yous, a way to honor the people who shaped her. Not just by supporting her dreams, but by living humbly, generously, and with quiet strength. That's how the milestone was marked. Not with headlines, but with humble gratitude. And her dad, the kind who never cries, wiping away a single tear, overwhelmed by the gesture. That was it. That was the moment. Not the app launch or the exit deal. That. Because money to Kayla wasn't about luxury. It was about freedom. The freedom to take care of the people who raised her, cooked for her, grew vegetables in their backyard, lived humbly, and loved deeply. And that's what never changed. Even when Sweat became a phenomenon, even when millions followed her, even when the media spun her into something she didn't recognize, the real version stayed grounded. There was never a team of stylists, never a brand manager scripting her content. She wouldn't promote alcohol because she doesn't drink, wouldn't push diet teas or fat burners, no matter the paycheck. Not even for $1 million, because that would break the trust she built, and that trust was everything. Moms trusted her, their daughters trusted her. Women everywhere, from all walks of life, saw someone who felt real, someone who wasn't chasing aesthetics or trends, someone who simply showed up. And the more the world tried to pull her into influencer culture, the more she dug in her heels. Even brand teams would try to tweak her image. No matching sets, they said. Too influencery. But she pushed back. She'd already written her own brand rules. No sexualization, no fakery, no misrepresentation, just authenticity. And she stuck to them like gospel. But that level of control came with obsession. Every detail mattered. Every caption, every pose, even the flyaways in her hair, because it all reflected her. And the thought of someone else shaping her image? Terrifying. It's why she never really stepped away. Even after selling Sweat, she stayed on, kept creating, kept filming, still trains, still calls herself a personal trainer. Because let's be real, CEO isn't the dream job for someone who wants to be out on the gym floor. Music pumping, clients sweating, joy radiating through the air. The title? Doesn't matter. The job? Still the same. And that's what's most fascinating. The app might have been acquired, the valuation might have hit $400 million, but at the heart of it all, she's still just Kayla, still grounded, still living close to her whole family, literally, all within 3 streets. And even as she contemplates moving interstate, the bond stays unbreakable. Now, years later, the world she created is still thriving. BBG, the original PDF program that started it all, is making a comeback, not under the same name, but with the same energy. That original circuit style, 28-minute, no excuses format that made women everywhere feel powerful. It's coming back, not because of market trends, but because the community asked for it. That's how it's always worked. She listens, she creates, and she shows up. And the simplicity of that 28-minute format, it was never just about saving time. It was about removing barriers. No need for fancy gym equipment, no long commutes to the gym, no endless routines. Just you, some floor space, and a program designed to push, challenge, and transform. It became a ritual for so many. Working moms, students, busy professionals, all carving out just half an hour to sweat it out, reset their minds, and feel like they'd accomplished something real. And through it all, Kayla never stopped learning. From the early days of being caught off guard by media misquotes to now, where she chooses carefully when and where to speak. Not out of fear, but because she's protective of the brand, of the community, of her voice. She knows now how one sentence can be twisted, how honesty can be misread as bitterness, how leadership, especially as a woman, is often scrutinized in a way that men don't face. So she leans on the team, always credits them, refuses to pretend this empire was built solo, because it wasn't. From her grandparents to the dev team, From the trainers to the followers, it's been collective. And yet she holds the weight, the face, the name, the responsibility. It's why when people ask about what's next, the future, the next business, the 5-year plan, the answer isn't a pitch deck or roadmap. It's presence. Just being here, being happy, watching the kids play in the chaos of the playroom, sitting around that same dinner table with the people who raised her, visiting her grandparents and seeing that same wiped-down tablecloth, still in perfect condition, still loved. That's the joy. That's the achievement. The 400 million is just numbers. The empire, that's real. But the reason behind it, the deep, unwavering commitment to helping women, that's the legacy. And maybe that's why the story feels different. There's no fame chasing, no boss babe flex, no thirst traps or controversial brand deals, just a woman who built something monumental and stayed humble through it all. From backyard training sessions to a global community, from printed guides to an app used by millions, from a quiet Adelaide upbringing to international headlines. It's not a story of hustle porn or burnout culture. It's a story of intention, of sticking to values, of listening to the community, not the trends, of giving people workouts and giving them hope. That's how Kayla Itsines built a $400 million fitness empire. Not by shouting the loudest, but by showing up every day with clarity, integrity, and a whole lot of heart. Love this story? Tap the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments what kind of real-world stories you want to hear next. And don't forget, success isn't about titles, it's about values.